crushing constants for 8 hours straight. 1. Being treated in a subhuman fashion by the leadership. 2. Being expected to happily accept any and all forms of horrific customer abuse or risk being fired. And 3. Dealing with the toxic culture of bullying, incivility, gossip, and backstabbing from 90% of the people who work there. With the exception of my first month on the job, I dealt with the aforementioned reality of that miserable existence every day I worked there. And I worked there for 2 long years. I might even still be there if it weren't for the life-changing and nearly life-ending moment that completely transformed me forever. When my alarm clock went off on that nondescript autumn morning, I noticed something that was very different about me. Instead of feeling the usual fear, dread, or soul-destroying pain that were my constant companions for close to 2 years, all of those feelings had mysteriously vanished. Little did I know it at the time, but this was not a good thing. Instead of feeling pain, I woke up feeling nothing. My pain was replaced by complete and utter emptiness. It was such a bizarre feeling, and unless you've ever felt complete emotional emptiness before, you might not grasp what you're about to read. Absolutely nothing mattered to me anymore. My job didn't matter to me. My girlfriend, who is now my lovely wife and mother of my 2 equally lovely little girls, didn't matter to me. My parents, friends, and loved ones didn't matter to me. My happiness didn't matter to me. My life didn't matter to me. On that day, I knew what it was like to have my soul destroyed. The normally enthusiastic, life of the party, and boundlessly energetic guy who loved to make everyone smile was effectively dead inside. I officially became one of the company's soulless zombies who would mindlessly support its mission until I was too old and broken down to do it anymore. The company had won, and I had lost. Even though I was fully aware of this fact, and even though I swore that I would never become one of the company's zombies, at that point, I was too emotionally devastated to care. And that was far from the worst of my problems. As I drove into work that autumn morning for the first and only time in my life, extremely terrifying thoughts crept into my mind as I drove down the I-405 freeway in Los Angeles. You should just drive your car off the freeway overpass. Come on, man. Just turn the wheel and gun the accelerator. Seriously, just do it and get it over with. Your life doesn't matter to anyone. You need to make the pain stop. Do it. These weren't just passing thoughts, mind you. These were strong impulses. I almost heeded the deadly siren's call, too. Why shouldn't I? I had just turned 30, which meant that I had at least another 30 years of dealing with this incredibly bleak future ahead of me. There was no escape for me. I couldn't become an actor, a professional basketball player, or a singer. I didn't have the talent to do any of those things. Even if I quit, I would just end up replacing this soul-sucking job with another soul-sucking job. It would be no different from rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic as far as I was concerned. That's when it became clear. The only options available to me were either to win the lottery, learn to accept a life of workplace misery for the next 30-plus years, or kill myself. That was it. And in that moment, only one of those options made sense. So I sharply turned the steering wheel toward the guardrail. The rebirth and the new solution. Thankfully, as I turned the wheel toward the guardrail, something made me regain control of my senses and wildly swerve back onto the freeway. To this day, I don't know what enabled me to fight through those dark thoughts and continue to drive to work that morning. But when I finally made it to the parking lot, I absolutely lost it as I slumped over the steering wheel of my car and started to cry as no adult has ever cried before. Trust me, I'm talking about the ugly cry, complete with an endless flow of snot running out of my nose, both eyes puffy and bloodshot, and coughing to the point at which I was barely able to breathe. Unlike before, this was a good thing. That was all the proof I needed that I wasn't completely emotionally dead. Not yet, anyway. At that point, I knew exactly what I had to do. I cleaned up my face, slammed my car door, and walked into the office with a single-minded purpose to do what I should have done 18 months earlier. I powered up my computer, typed up my resignation letter, submitted it to my boss, and 2 weeks